Using a mist of synthetic sweat, the corrosion test exposes strings to elements mimicking a human finger. Over time, excess remains strong, while other strings corrode and become damaged. Testing complete.
Hey, this is John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. I'm with John Lee Shannon of Circles Around the Sun, playing a very cool, pensive, spacey intro. I love it. So, John, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Oh, great. Now, this is your first date on this run. You guys are out for doing, I saw every night.
Correct. Well, we have one day off, which is sort of a treat because this is the second run that we've all done together in the last couple months. And the one in September was 12 shows in a row with no day off.
Yeah, that's a long 12 days.
Yeah, it was great though. It's so short that it's kind of nice to just keep the momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John told me he's touring with just one guitar right now. Tell me about this Strat.
Yeah, so this is relatively new to me. This is a custom shop Fender 69 Journeyman Relic. Huh. Yeah, so it's basically, you know, an exact recreation of what would be a 1969 Strat. And I think it's just not that relict is the main difference. You know, it hasn't been dragged behind a truck.
Wait till the end of this tour, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can see it's already got a little love on there.
Yeah, sure.
But it's great. I've been really wanting a 69 for a while, and obviously I could never afford a real one.
I wouldn't say never.
Well,
maybe not today.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But no, this is great. I love the big headstock.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure you know, but the sweet spot with that is, you know, 68, 69, when you've still got, you know, the 4-bolt.
Right.
And no truss rod.
Yeah.
So it's a really great guitar. It's
hold
all
on.
stock.
No truss rod. I mean, there's a.
Sorry, no bullet.
Yeah,
truss
yeah,
rod.
yeah. Go through that.
Heel adjust. Yeah. But yeah, it's great. It's got a great neck. The pickups are really cool. They're just whatever was in there when I got it.
Yeah.
I think there's some Fender hand wound 68 things, but they're nice and bright. I think this is like a Texas special, so it's a little hotter.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It's real barky. You know, it's not like a tame Strat.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And do you use the whammy bar a lot?
I do, but not like, you know, I don't go to full Jeff Beck territory, but I do have it set to float. Lou Feminella, my good buddy in Brooklyn, who works on guitars for me, helped me dial that thing in. So yeah, it's set to, you know, go up and down, but I just use it, you know, for little things here and there, you know, every once in a while, something a little crazier. But yeah, I like to have it floating. Just have the option. Speaking
of playing one guitar with a floating bridge on tour, do you worry about breaking strings?
I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, the last run we did, I had a different Strat of mine, which is a hardtail. And, you know...
A little more forgiving.
A little more forgiving, but, I mean, again, knock on wood, but I don't really ever break strings. I don't play that hard, and, you know, I try to change them regularly enough.
Yeah. What strings do you use?
I usually use just D'Addario 10s.
Yeah.
But this is actually the first time I've tried the NYXL strings.
Right. How do you like them?
So far, great. I mean, I haven't really played a gig with them on this guitar yet, but they sound and they feel really good, just, you know, right out of the pack. So
right.
We'll see. But
long life on those strings.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And, you know, I usually don't change strings that often anyways. Yeah. So I'm hoping that this will just, you know, sweeten the deal even more.
Yeah. John, you're a risk taker. I like it.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't change strings often, one guitar.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of a necessary evil, you know, like I flew in this morning from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, I checked this, and I carried my, you know, giant suitcase on the plane. And if I could bring a few more guitars, I would. But for now, it's the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, okay. Well, and we'll deal with this pedalboard. You don't want to, checking that, no fun.
It was kind of scary. Usually, if we flipped it over, you see on the case, I have all these love notes.
Yeah,
like,
please.
I respect you. I know you're doing your job, but please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, and
please.
Of course, like I checked it in this morning, and I was like a little late getting there, and like, you know, I give it to the lady at the counter, and she passes back to the guy, and as I'm walking away, I just hear, go.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start. But it survived. You see, I got the wad zip tied down. It's being held hostage.
Good. Okay, well, before we jump into this, tell me a little bit about this amp.
Okay, well, this is really exciting because I actually just got this afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Nashville?
From Rumble Seat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, you know, part of the logistics thing with this little tour is, you know, everybody, all these guys are in LA.
Yeah.
And so all their gear came out on pallets.
Yeah.
And I don't have an amp out there. So I spent the last month trying to find something out there to have Dan or Adam go get it for me and ship it out. It just wasn't working out. So eventually I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to Nashville. I mean, also it took me too long to realize. I was like, if you're gonna go somewhere and buy an amp,
right.
it's probably the best place to be.
Great Craigslist here, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You find...
Which reminds me, there's a guy on Craigslist that I had on standby. I gotta send him an email, tell him.
You're gonna break his heart.
Yeah, Derek, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I'm gonna text you in an hour. I still want that Bandmaster though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just been trolling all the websites of, you know, the various places in town, and I saw this on Rumble Seat, and, you know, just right away the look of it, I was like,
oh yeah,
hell yeah.
So what year is it?
So I think it's a 68.
Okay, you know, I saw Bonamassa playing one just like this a while ago.
Really?
Could be his for all I know.
Well, no. You know, actually, this is the best part. So I called them last week, and I was like, because they also had a Bassman that I was looking at, and, and it sold, and I was pretty upset about it. So this was my second choice. And I called them last week and I was like, hey, I want that amp, you know, like, I'm gonna put a deposit on it.
Yeah.
So I put a deposit on it and just hoped for the best. And I went there today to play it, and I plugged in, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. The best part was they were like, yeah, this is on consignment from Tom Bukovac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, box it up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Because that was the other thing, is like, this is amazing, but like, you know, you never know if it's been sitting in somebody's dad's basement for 40 years or something.
Right. So it's the Sunn 100S?
That's it, 100S, which is, you know, they only made a couple amps in this era, I guess, but this was the guitar version, and the bass version is 200S. And I think the only real difference, Dan actually has a couple of them, not here, but the only difference I think is just that this has reverb and, you know, tremolo.
Both of which you've left off.
Which I've left off, but they actually, I mean, you know, it's kind of that Ampeg thing, but they actually sound, you know, they sound pretty cool, actually. Like, it's not the worst sounding.
Yeah, no, cool.
And the
Subtle.
tremolo's got like a weird kind of thing happening too.
Oh, yeah.
Totally passable.
Oh yeah, good for spy sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I have, you know, the pedal, which is nice to turn on and off. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So in 215s.
215s, which they said are Fender JBLs, D140s, which I believe them. I haven't opened it up to look, but if you look through the grill, the dust cap looks a little different. So I'm not sure if it's just been reconed or changed out, or maybe they just don't have that, you know, the JBLs always have that silver dust cap on them.
Right, but over the past, what, how long is that, like 53
like
years,
yeah.
50? Maybe things have changed.
Maybe, but I mean, more importantly, it sounds great. And again, like if
and even more importantly, it looks cool.
That's, I mean, honestly, like I told these guys, because they were like, are you sure? Like, you think, because I hadn't played it or anything, and I was like, honestly, unless it sounds like total trash, I'm just gonna get it, because it looks great. And when you gotta compete with that, you can't. The last run was on the West Coast, and I just flew out and borrowed one of Dan's Princetons, and I felt like, you know, just real challenged up there with little Princeton.
Oh, how emasculating.
Amongst,
a tiny Princeton.
It was really bumming me out, especially like people would come out, you know, and be like, whoa, man, you know, like dudes in different towns would be like, Adam, nice, man, what do you got over there? Dan, looking good. And then I just have like a new Princeton, and they're like, cool, man.
yeah.
So we had to go vertical.
Yeah, okay, good.
But yeah, it's just big and clean, which is, you know, that's kind of the, you know, the Neal sort of lineage, the legacy of this band is like, that was kind of his thing. You know, the Jerry sort of big, clean sound. And this really does it. I don't know what it is about big amps, but it just sounds different. Like a big amp on 3 just sounds so much different than a small amp on 3.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this has it. It's got a little hair, and you know, say a prayer it doesn't blow up anytime in the next 2 weeks, but
yeah. Although if it blows up, now's the time to do it so you can bring it back to Rumble Seat tomorrow.
That's true. Yeah, because we're actually leaving from here in 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
I'll come back and say, "What did you do?"
Yeah, right. Right. Well, yeah, it looks great. Good luck on this maiden voyage.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about the mothership here.
Yeah, I know. This is the mothership. So this is kind of a work in progress. I've been tweaking this over the last 5 or 6 weeks in between these 2 runs, because I had another board for the last one and it had a lot of the same stuff, but you know, you get out there and you're like, okay, this is working, this isn't.
Yeah.
And so it's still kind of evolving. You can see I'm probably not going to win any awards for Cable Job of the Year, but
no, totally. I mean, it's clean. It really looks good.
Yeah, it's once I get everything sorted, it'll be strapped in and unable to go anywhere. But yeah, so this is the board. This is I took a lot of sort of inspiration from Neal's setup.
Right.
I mean, even down to some specific pedals, just because they're such great sounding things.
Well, and if you want to reference that, look at our Chris Robinson Brotherhood rig rundown from a few years ago, where you can see Neal's actually very similar board.
Yeah, very similar. The looper is a big thing, but I'll just go through it.
Yeah. Let's hear. So, you run a curly 1/4 inch.
Curly
Love that.
cord,
Straight
yeah.
in.
This is a lava cable, which I've had for probably 5 years now, and it still sounds great.
Yeah, got your money's worth.
I know. So yeah, got the curly cable, and it goes right into the side here. And then first thing is this lovely Jam Waco.
I love it.
Yeah, which I just got actually. I had really wanted one, but they make them now, but they've changed the finish.
Oh.
And the current finish, I mean, I love Jam, but the current finish is so weird looking.
Right.
I just couldn't get into it. So I actually sent them an email, because they used to make one similar to this, and they don't anymore. And they're on Reverb for, you know, $600.
God.
So I sent them an email and said, hey, do you have any of the old ones? And they said, no, but we just finished this one, which is like a custom shop thing, and you can have that one. So I bought it, and they sent it over. And I just got it. I haven't really even used it yet, but you know, everybody, Jim Campolongo is a friend of mine in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And he's the opposite of this. He has no effects.
Yeah.
And a Princeton.
He's a Princeton.
Yeah.
He's a Telly and a Princeton guy.
Yeah, but the one thing that he does love is this wah. And
Really?
so he's raved about it a lot, and a lot of other people have too. And it's just, you know.
Yeah.
It just like, it's not a tone sucker, and it has that nice sweep, and it has this knob, you can adjust it. I'm gonna get to know it over this run, really, but I'm excited to have it, because, you know, Adam's got a wah on his clavinet, and it just sounds so funky.
Yeah.
So I'm psyched about that, and best part is it works with fuzzes.
Ooh.
So you can put it, this is a pretty easygoing fuzz anyways, but you can work with that and it works out. So that's the first thing, and then from there it goes into this looper, which is a Road Rage thing, which I directly stole from Neal, and it's great, it's beautiful, and it goes into the input, and then first thing is this tuner, Sonic Research. I've had that thing for a long time, works great, always super in tune. And then that's just a mute, and then the first loop is this compressor, which is the Pale Green, which is a Neal pedal.
Right.
And funny enough, I was looking for one, and I found a guy on Reverb selling this older model, and I messaged him about it, asking what version it was, and he wrote back and he was like, I'm not sure, Neal Casal turned me on to this pedal. And I was like, okay,
there we go.
I'll take it.
Meant to be.
Yeah, so it's a really good compressor. It's simple, you know, which is like, the thing with that is, much like Neal, like when it comes to that stuff, if it's too complicated, it starts to really confuse me. So this one, you know, you can see you just set it basically at noon and adjust the compression, and it just levels everything out, especially with like a big amp like this.
Yeah. Kind
of shaves off some of that unruly stuff. So that's the first thing, and that's kind of an always on dude. And then it goes into this fuzz, which is Super Hornet by Greer, which is really cool because it has an octave function, but you can set it to be either always on, or you can use this like momentary switch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you know it does the the noisy fuzz thing.
Yeah.
But it sounds.
Yeah, that's Cool.
So it's cool to be able to turn it on and off, and it has like a boost too. I think when you hit the octave, it adds a few dBs. So that's good for that stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
And then we go into this rubber chicken, which is an envelope filter.
Oh, wow.
Which sounds really good.
Yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah, so that's, you know. That sort of thing. Yeah, cool. It's good. It's not too much. You know, it sounds pretty organic. And then it goes to this Plainsman, which is another pedal I stole from our friend Neal. This is a cool clean boost, which I just basically have set at Unity, and it's cool because you know, a lot of the times I'm just playing clean in this band. But this, it doesn't make it louder, not how I have it set anyways. It just makes it a little hairier. Which is nice. It's just a really little bit of punch when you need it. So that's a cool one for solos and stuff. And then I have this Honey Beast, which is an overdrive, and it's pretty mild.
Yeah,
it's like a medium gain thing.
Love that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really loud. Like you can see I have the volume turned down. It's a very loud pedal, and it can really be like an always on beastly sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I just have it for a little extra. And then let's see. Oh, then we go to this, which I just got. I'm really excited about. You probably know about these, but this is just your everyday ordinary.
Yeah, I love it.
Vibe pedal, so it does the Gilmour thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big Gilmour fan, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that is a really good. That's a really good sounding version of that.
And this have this big guy that you ever kick it with your foot and be able to move it while going?
I haven't yet, but this is, you know, this is the rate or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really 3D sounding. I'm excited about it. Definitely be having some fun with that. And then we go to this tremolo, which is a really good sounding tremolo pedal from Walrus. And what's cool about this pedal is it sounds great just as a regular tremolo, but I actually have it set, you can adjust the wave shape, so you can do just like a sine wave, which sounds like a regular tremolo, but you can also, there's a few, I don't even know what some of them are, but I have it set on like a square wave, and if you turn the depth way up and use the tap, you can do some really cool like gated sounding stuff, like and that sort of thing. You can get pretty wild. So
yeah, like scary movie sounds.
Yeah, exactly. And it has a really good harmonic tremolo on it too. So
cool. I
really like that pedal. And then it goes into like some delays, which again I just sort of borrowed from our buddy. But I have two. I have this Bell Epic, which is like a slapback sort of thing. How I have it set, anyways. That sort of thing. Yeah, it sounds good, and that pedal does a lot of stuff, and it does it all really well. But I'm using it for that now. And then this Echo Rec, which is the longer thing, which is the, you know, again the sort of Floyd thing.
Yeah.
But that sounds really good for big solos and that kind of thing. And then this Lex is a Leslie simulator, a rotary speaker thing. So you know. Sounds really good for that, but then it has this slow and fast switch, so you can also put it slow and it does a really good. Yeah, it does the George Harrison thing really well.
And I love the way those ramp up. It's not like an immediate fast, immediate slow.
I know.
It's like you can kind of see that Leslie going up to speed.
Yeah, I love doing that, like just, you know, playing whatever. Get into Frampton Zone or whatever.
Yeah, that is Frampton Zone.
That's it. But yeah, that's a really cool pedal. I use that one all the time. And then last but not least is just this good old reverb. It's the Topanga also by Cattle and Bread. And I found this cool wood version, which I really like. I like wood.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah. But it's a really good sounding reverb pedal. I've tried a lot of reverb pedals, and most of the time they're kind of disappointing.
Sure.
You know, they all sound sort of just like a reverb pedal. But this one, I mean, you can sort of not even tell it's on until it's not on. You know, real dry, and then just a little space in there. So that's a really cool pedal too.
Yeah, so as big as this is, it really isn't that much stuff.
No, I mean, I don't think so. This is, and you know, for me, this is more, I mean, this is all kind of inspired by this band and this gig. You know, I spent the last like 5 years just really working with singers, you know, and doing a lot of like roots, like Americana stuff. And you know, in that world, it's like a Telecaster, Fender amp, maybe, you know, 2 or 3 pedals, but that's about it. And so
you in this band, you all just stretch, right?
Yeah,
it just goes.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole idea. Is it's really meant to just be this sort of like bubbling, you know, ongoing thing.
Do you have a set list, or is it like a?
Yeah, usually. I mean,
do you know how long songs will go, or is it just like?
No, not really. That's the thing is, especially on the last run, you know, we'd make a set list and we'd pretty much stick to it, mostly because, you know, these guys have been playing together for a really long time, but this is, you know, tonight's probably our 20th show together, maybe. So, you know, a set list is a nice thing to at least have as a little net.
So you know what key you're in.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, lengthwise, some of the songs, I mean, I remember on the last run, there were a couple nights where we'd literally finish the first song. And, you know, in my head, I would kind of come back to earth and be like, wow, that was cool. And then I'd be like, wait, that was the first song?
Yeah.
Like, emotionally, I was like at the end of the set. So, yeah, they really, some of them can really stretch out and segue into each other and that sort of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, so it really helps to have these options. I think, you know, I understand why Neal went this way too, because it really is sort of part of the deal with this music. You know, this band is like, it's about colors and textures and stuff, you know, less about like virtuosic solos and like, you know, big peaks and things like that. It's more just about these, you know, different like tapestries and things. So, you know, that's makes sense when you look at Adam's setup and Dan's setup. It's kind of all in that same vein.
It's cool too the way you guys will hand it over to Adam. He'll kind of do a thing that's very subtle when everybody comes down. And it's dynamic, and then it raises the roof.
Totally. It's all it's about it's really about the interplay, which is something I'm still, you know, learning the language of with these guys, but that's the most fun thing. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, John, congratulations on the gig.
Thank you so much.
Have a great tour, and thanks for joining us. Okay, now I'm with Dan Horne. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, let's hear about this very cool bass.
All right, this is a 1978 Alembic Series 1.
How cool, man.
Yeah.
Those are really kind of the first guys doing like custom basses back in the day.
Yeah, totally. With the exotic woods.
Right.
You know, like splitting, they call this a hippie sandwich.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. God, okay, let's start with the crazy cable that most will not understand.
Yeah, it's not as complicated as you might think. It's an active bass, so it's power.
Okay.
It supplies power through this little box here, so I don't have to use batteries. But you can use batteries. It still has a regular jack here, but it's in place of batteries. But then also, each pickup has its own output on there. But I don't use. You can also. This switches the pickups too. So if you just use the bass output, it's a mono output.
Oh, okay.
So it sums it. So I'm not actually using both. I use both pickups, but I'm not using like them separately.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's get into these mystery switches over here.
Okay. Honestly, I don't use them that much. It's a filter, and it has a Q on it. Oh. This is the Q. So you can almost make it sound like a wah.
Really?
But I pretty much just leave it on the wider Q and turn it all the way up. That's my vibe. Same with like this pickup. I use mostly the neck pickup, and then you can, you know, that's like the full sound. It's got delay on it. And then, yeah, you know, but it's got the bridge pickup, which is not even working right now, so never mind.
Well, it's a very old bass.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No, it's probably...
But it sounds great with that neck pickup. What else do you need? It's
yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
And I love it's got the brass nut. That's so
I know,
cool.
yeah, and they make these apparently, you know, each one is like handmade. They're not made on like a machine, so
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's a
Have
great
you had it
company.
a long time?
Yeah, I've had it maybe 8 years,
Oh.
8 years, something like that. I got it on Craigslist, you know, as you do.
Oh, yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I've developed a relationship with the Alembic people. They're so cool.
Oh.
They're amazing. They're in Santa Rosa, and they just built me another bass, so
That's
they're,
great.
They're the best.
I bet they love seeing their old stuff out there.
Yes, I think so. They're very supportive. They're
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, okay, that's beautiful. But that's just part of this weird equation you've got going. So let's talk a little bit about your amp
Okay.
and these cabs.
All right. Yeah, I mean, these are kind of got the same, you know, it's like there's a Grateful Dead history going on here.
Yeah.
With Alembic, who was building, you know, the Wall of Sound and stuff.
Sure.
So these are like kind of copies of the Wall of Sound.
Yeah.
But they're later. They're bag end. You know, bag end started making these, and then I wanted more, so I made two more. These are, my friend built these like cabinets.
To basically
Yeah, I
mimic-
just had him copy these.
Oh, great.
Because I thought it'd be cool.
Yeah, God, it looks great.
And then the speakers are cool. They're Webers,
Oh, yeah.
which they're great.
Love
company.
Weber speakers.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah.
And they're super nice. And I was like, hey, is there any way you could put an aluminum dust cap on your 15-inch bass speaker? They were like, that would be sick. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And so I have 6 of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Ted Weber's so cool. He's
I
just
know.
right in Kokomo, Indiana,
Yep.
knocking these out one at a time.
I know. Actually, one time I was on a tour and I needed a couple, and he was like, it was like a Sunday or something, and he's like, I'm out at a bar. I think it was St. Patrick's Day. He's like, I'm at a bar. Come get them here. And I met him at a bar in Indianapolis.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, he's
Perfect.
the coolest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, the cabs are very cool. Now, what is driving these?
Okay. We got another Alembic, Alembic FX1 preamp, which is like, it's like a Fender. I think I want to say it's a Bandmaster preamp, just a 112AX7.
Yeah.
And then I'm running that into this brand
Crown.
spanking new Crown Guitar Center Special.
Really?
Nothing fancy. I got it because it's high powered and it's lightweight, you know, Class D
Sure.
amp. And I didn't know how it sounded. I had a bunch of like old, you know, Haflers, and I had like a Trace Elliott, but I wanted to make it more lightweight. So, and honestly, it sounds really good. I was like, whoa, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm going with the lightweight vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, well that's easy. Now that's the last uncomplicated part of this.
So, yeah.
Because the rest, when we get into effects, it gets a little more complex. You've got a floorboard,
Yeah.
MIDI controller, and what all are you running?
Well, the main thing, I just wanted it to be all racked up so I could like have it. I'm trying to like, you know, consolidate, roll it in. This thing's so cool. It's just a MIDI switcher, and then, you know, relays in that little box. So it keeps the signal path analog, and just then I don't have to have the pedal board out here.
Yeah. So what all pedals do you have? Now on the floor you've got this Morley that you're going into first.
Yep.
What is that?
It's just your basic fuzz wah.
Let's hear that
Cliff.
thing.
It's on 10.
Well, of
Let's
course.
turn it down a little bit.
How else would you set
Intensity. The intensity's a little high.
it? Yeah.
You know, I love Cliff Burton.
Sure. What's not to
Everybody
love?
loves Cliff Burton, and that's kind of like the newer version of the old one he used.
Yeah.
And it's so cool with you don't have to click it on and stuff.
Yeah.
Great. Love
Yeah,
that
the
pedal.
old ones were huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. They sound good, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
sound
now
good.
you got that in a smaller
Sure.
package, a little more convenient.
Yeah, probably cleaner too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so and then in the rack, what's all in there?
Let's see, it's not too complicated. I got the MXR carbon copy, you
Oh,
know,
let's hear that.
with fuzz. That's not it. That's flanger. See, this is kind of cool. So like, you know, you click it once, you got delay, and then click it again, and I have it so it turns the flanger on with the delay.
Well, that's great. Now,
And it's the flanger is a Boss, the purple one.
okay,
Love that guy.
the purple one in the comments somewhere will list what that is. The purple one.
Flanger FL.
Yeah.
FL.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Just
No, BF2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's an older one. I'm not super stickler about like getting the old Japanese ones, but they are
Sure.
cool when you have the real one, you know.
Well, a 2 is probably pretty early.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, then what's next?
Okay, I got a, so we saw the flanger, carbon copy. I got my small stone, which I was on a phaser quest. I go on little quests.
Sure.
Phaser quest. The cool thing, if you try, I've tried every phaser, like, cause that
Sure.
one's so cool, but it's big, right? So it
Yeah.
takes up a lot of space. So I was trying to find something else, but nothing else cuts the bass frequencies like this one. Hear how it like pulsates in the low,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then it also gets a little weird high pitch sound.
Yeah.
The
It's
wiggle.
it's
got
really,
the wiggle and the pulse.
It's kind of percussive.
Yeah. So I just like to turn that on to like mess with people's
Yeah.
brains. Like
Right.
one time somebody was like, at one point I thought I heard a helicopter hovering over your stage. It was at a festival, and like, but there wasn't a helicopter there.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
And I think it was
Yeah,
that.
it's a small stone.
Anyway, it's more of a weird. I use it more for weirdness
Yeah.
than like during a song.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah. So there's some other stuff that I don't have plugged in right now, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then, oh well, this is very important.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear about this.
The space drum, and going into a Memory Man.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
so that's a. So what is this actually?
This is like,
Space drum. Wow. So that's an electroharmonic space drum.
yeah.
That's running into a memory man.
Yep. Hmm.
Wow.
And you know, it's just like hype machine, get the crowd going, that
Right.
kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
you can. It's. I just love this thing. It's all over our album too.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
It's velocity, you know, touch sensitive. So however hard you hit it is like,
That's great.
yeah. So I love that thing.
Yeah.
And then the Memory Man classic. I'm a bit of a, you know, it matches.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Yeah.
nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, thanks so much for joining us
Yeah.
and letting us see inside the crazy workshop.
Oh yeah, of course. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
glad you guys are interested.
Yeah, I love this stuff. And more importantly, all these nerds out here love this stuff.
Yes. Good.
Look, I know you got a sound check, so we'll get out of your way. Till next time.